And now that the film and TV awards have been given out, those that matter anyway, let's bring Josh in and we'll discuss the Game Awards. Welcome back, Josh.
Thank
Merry
you.
Christmas.
Merry
Happy
Christmas
New
indeed.
Year.
I love to see all the hats and the Christmas jumper. It's a solid effort from you.
Yeah, little Mando jumper.
Yeah, love to see it. But yeah,
Meanwhile, you're
indeed,
suited and booted.
suited and booted Game Awards, mate, coming out looking like Jeff Keighley. Obviously, we had the big night last Thursday. Going into Friday for us in the UK. I believe both of you have caught up now. I stayed up to watch it live. Didn't go to bed till 3:30 in the morning. Got up for 8 o'clock at work. That went down well. But a great show. Possibly my favourite out of all the Game Awards over recent years. But we will come on to discuss that. Obviously, the main part of the show is the actual awards themselves. We went through beforehand when the nominations got announced a couple of weeks before the Game Awards. We went through, gave all of our inputs for most of the categories. There was some fighting games, for example. All three of us don't really play fighting games, but we put a prediction down just for the sake of it.
Yeah,
We did.
We're going to go through now, see who got what right, who won. A lot of people probably know who won what awards, but we'll just do a recap. Is that good for everyone?
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll do esports as a whole because they, as always, brush through this pretty quickly. I feel like
I was
the
a
Game
little bit
Awards,
disappointed with some awards not even getting the main stage.
Yeah, there's some of them where, and that again was another yearly complaint where they didn't fancy getting some of the people on stage which is the whole point. It's literally called the Game Awards. But they did a lot better than previous years, giving people more time. They didn't let one person just stand there for about 10 minutes rambling on.
true.
which was quite nice, and we love to see that. But esports was one that they dished through pretty quickly. We had best esports team, best esports athlete, and the best esports game. Game wise, all three of us got it right. League of Legends was always going to win, realistically. Val at one point I thought could do it, but then it sort of died off. Whereas League's just so big every year, it was realistically out of League and Dota, I think.
I also think with League having such a fun Worlds tournament and the storyline of Faker and T1 doing it again, I think probably got them over the line against Dota. Whereas if the Worlds had been like not seen as an entertaining Worlds, Dota probably would have come in and swept it up.
Possibly.
Well, I mean, it was a clean sweep pretty much because the best esport athlete was Faker and the esports team was T1. I mean, I feel like them three were the most dead set, and the one that I'm going to go on to in a minute was sort of like dead sets. I don't think some of the other people, like Zywoo, obviously great player, Alexi B, obviously I'm coming from my CS background here, but like it's just Faker and he's the GOAT.
Chovy was the person Faker was playing against in the final in mid lane, so it's like
okay, it was like a little rivalry type thing.
I just feel like when Faker got like, I don't even follow League. I've never played League. I never will play League. But when I'm so keenly aware that Faker is the undisputed GOAT and he's gone and done it again with T1 at Worlds, I'm like, cool.
Back to back.
Faker, T1, and League are gonna win all of them awards. Not a problem.
Yeah.
Another one they sort of skipped past because technically is part of the Game Awards, also not quite at the same time. Content Creator of the Year. We all put Queso.
Love Queso.
He was one of the only ones I really knew out of the nominees. I've heard of Typical Gamer.
Yeah,
so Typical Gamer was the first gaming YouTuber I ever watched.
Okay.
Which is a weird bit of lore, and I forgot all about him. I forgot all about him, and then Fortnite started blowing up, and I came back to start watching stuff, and I was like, why is this random guy in my subscription feed? I'm like, holy shit, that's Typical Gamer. I know him back from his GTA 5 mod days. If you know, you know. If you don't know, get to know, you know?
So yeah, Queso took that one. I feel like fair enough. We all
he's had an insane year. I don't think that's a shock.
Most anticipated. This one, I feel like if this particular game wasn't there, it could have been a pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Could have gone over. We had Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotei, Metroid Prime 4, Monster Hunter Wilds. So out of all of them, it could have gone anyway. I think the Nintendo people would have gone for Metroid.
I feel like it would have landed on Death Stranding 2 or Ghost of Yotei, but I do agree it would have been an interesting discussion.
Yeah, because obviously the Nintendo fanboys would have gone Metroid. It could have gone either way, but obviously we had GTA 6, which is it even going to come out next year, or is it going to be pushed back to 2026? Who knows?
It's coming out in 2025. It's part of my 2025 perfect summer.
When your game trailer, like you're not giving a release date for that or a release date for the game, is affecting other games choosing when to release, it kind of automatically makes you the most anticipated game across the board inside the industry as well.
100%. I mean, we'll come on to it, but almost all the games that were given a time frame in the Game Awards were just 2025. There was no date. No one wants to put a date out until
right now.
Rockstar
I'm telling you, Rockstar are ready. That they've already gone whatever it's called, golden or platinum. They're actually 100% ready. They're just such trolls. They're enjoying watching everyone else go, do we know when GTA 6 is coming out? Can we announce a date? What I want GTA 6 to do, and I know it means we'll wait a little bit longer than we want to, I want them to make their announcement kind of mid-September, so that it fucks with all the yearly release titles.
That's just not good for the industry, though.
I want them to fuck with FIFA and Madden and Call of Duty.
They'll come out regardless.
Yeah, but they'll have their worst year ever, and they might have something about complaints.
This is never going to happen because they'll want pre-orders. But I would love...
Oh, what Shadow Drop?
Just if it was just like, we get a trailer in January or something, and the trailer ends and it goes, out now. And everyone's like, GTA 6 is out? What? And just the industry freaks out.
Everyone and then Nat on the phone going, sorry boss, I need next week off.
Yeah,
I'm not coming in tomorrow.
All of my annual leave.
The economic crash of 2025 due to GTA 6 coming out and everyone's stopping work.
Every young person between the age of 18 and 30s randomly said they're not coming in for a week. What's going on?
Yeah, there might be another global pandemic. Half the world's called in sick.
What a shame. Just no one's about. The streets are empty. It's like 28 days later. GTA
we will be there.
We will be there. GTA 6 did indeed win that one. And I think that was the last one where we went for the majority. As of now, we do start mixing up the votes a little bit. Next one, right up your guys' street, and the whole premise of this podcast itself. Best adaptation.
We had Arcane. Seeding.
We had Arcane, Fallout, Knuckles, Like a Dragon, that should say, not Life a Dragon on the sheet, and Tomb Raider. Fallout was the winner, which me and Con both went for.
I know my stuff. What can I say?
Hori, was Arcane snubbed?
So, some people will probably say yes, it was. I voted Arcane because I love Arcane. If you're being logical, Arcane has only just come out, which has meant probably for a lot of these things, it's missed. It kind of gets missed off awards things because it's just too late. Don't get me wrong, Fallout is the only one on here that I'm fine with it losing to because Fallout was incredible. They did a great job. It's just I'm biased towards Arcane. But I think, unfortunately, had Arcane come out in like the summer, it might have actually won it. But
I agree with that. I do think that Arcane came out too late to really have a good chance at winning this.
Yeah.
Next one was one that we've all dabbled in a lot of the games.
I can't believe you got this wrong.
I just thought the recency bias and everyone bigging it up, it might happen. So it was the best multiplayer category. We had Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Helldivers 2, Super Mario Party, Tekken 8, and Warhammer 40k, which, Hori, I thought you might sway towards too at one point. Helldivers 2 was the winner. I went for Black Ops 6 just for recency bias purposes. Got great reviews this year. Obviously, great to see Helldivers win it.
It's not very for Super Earth of you.
Yeah, it's not at all.
If Marvel Rivals hadn't waited till December 6th to come out, it would have won this award.
That's a solid shout. We're all having a great time playing
it. It'd have to come out a lot sooner, but
if it had come out in September time, probably would have had the perfect amount of time for everyone to be in love with it and win.
I didn't vote Warhammer 40k because like the story and that game is incredible. The multiplayer is it's a bit of PvP. It's not like super expansive, so it's like the multiplayer side is like.
My only concern with voting for Helldivers 2 was the controversy that hurt its player base a fair bit. I know it's recovered decently well and it has a pretty solid player base now. but that hurt its player base. I didn't know how much that had affected the wider voting base.
See, I thought in my head, I was like, because they'd done the huge patch that corrected a lot of fan issues and they've made efforts to to improve the multiplayer again, is why I was like, oh, it's gonna win.
Yeah, I get that, and that's why I was confident voting for it. But I wouldn't have been shocked if I would have been burnt.
No, that was very deserved. We all had a great time playing that. Will you be dabbling in the new DLC that has recently dropped?
Possibly.
I want to.
Yeah.
But Marvel Rivals does have
That's
me
the
by the
problem.
testicles.
Fair play. This one here, the biggest farce of the night. I know, Murray, you're probably didn't give a shit about this one. Con, I can see you didn't actually even put a vote down.
No.
However, right, so I'll go through the nominees before I go on a rant. We got F1 24, EA Sports FC 25, NBA 2K 25, Top Spin 2K 25, and WWE 2K 24. All the 2Ks. First of all, very surprised college football wasn't on there.
Yes, I can't believe that wasn't included.
Obviously, everyone had been waiting years for that to come out. Finally drops. Very good fun.
It's the only thing EA have released in about 10 years where I've not seen people lose their mind with it.
I feel like the majority of America were playing it, and yet wasn't nominated. A bit of a strange one. Top Spin, I really enjoyed. Obviously, it's not the traditional most popular game, but it was really good. NBA, same as every year. F1, I haven't played.
I didn't vote that because from what I heard, it wasn't well received.
F1 24 had a down year by the sounds of it.
Okay.
Especially compared to the last two.
WWE, I feel like they're just the same every year, really, aren't they? But
don't even know how it counts as a sports/racing game.
That's true. It's an entertainment game, but somehow the winner being EA Sports FC 25. I'm gonna go on a rant. So basically,
yes, please.
Get him a
soapbox.
Don't get me wrong, because this sounds so contradictory. The game came out September. From September to the start of November, I logged over 150 hours. Right.
But that doesn't make it a good FIFA game.
100%, because everyone knows if you're into Ultimate Team, the grind at the start of the game is by far the best part. I normally drop off around Christmas anyway, because that early grind is just so good. This year, it felt very same. The content, the 6 p.m. content every day was so lackluster. The gameplay, good lord. Touches were heavy, rivals, and you had to play about 900 million games of rival. It was 15 wins a week. It felt like a second job trying to get you weekly just to qualify for champs. It was just a shambles, and I've unfollowed all the accounts I followed. Foot Sheriff, bringing all like the updates and stuff. But I'm still seeing a lot of people saying COD killed FIFA this year. There's so much less people playing it. And I'm glad, because that game is absolutely dire. They'll continue to make money because people love to spend money on packs, but I have no idea how that's won and who is voting for that.
This is why I don't play FIFA.
I've not bought FIFA since 22. I wait for it to come to Game Pass normally in February because I'm a career mode dude. And if I want to play any Ultimate Team by February time comes around, you can get insane cards easily anyway. All I saw about this game was that it's potentially the worst FIFA in the last 10 years. And
it could be, like, honestly.
And they added a new multiplayer mode, which was apparently fun. And that was the only saving grace was like that new mode was a good
Rush
idea.
was good fun. It was like was it 4v4 or 5v5? I think 4v4, because you have the old AI goalkeeper. Like a little tiny pitch. You can do challenges in there to upgrade your players, sort SBCs out, etc. Rush was really fun. They didn't capitalize on it. It wasn't updated enough, in my opinion.
And I think that's how they've managed to scam this award. But here's the thing. I'm not going to bash the people who play these games too much because I am a massive sport game enjoyer. I just haven't bought a sport game brand new for about 3 or 4 years because they all come to Game Pass eventually now. I just wait and play last year's one. I'm still playing Madden 24. I'll play Madden 25 during the 26th season. I don't give a fuck. But these games are not innovative and good enough every year for FIFA to be getting a nomination, let alone winning.
No.
I'm going to move on before I get too angry about that. Best sim
I'm not the
strategy.
only one who rants on this show. Let's go.
Best sim strategy. This was sort of up Horry's street, and he did get it right. I went for the one that sort of I had heard the most about, glowing reviews. We had Age of Mythology, Frostpunk 2. Oh god, here we go. Kinitsugami, that rings bells. Mana Lords and Unicorn Overlord. I think Unicorn Overlord came out too early in the year. Don't quote me on that, but I feel like it been and went. It was quite hyped up at the time, and then I haven't really heard about it since. Frostpunk 2 was the only one that I'd heard and seen on social media sort of still being discussed, and that did end up being the winner. So me and Horry got the point for that. Con went incorrect with Mana Lords.
I mean, Mana Lords, to be fair to Con, isn't a bad... I played some of Mana Lords. It was very much enjoyed by people. I think the issue for Mana Lords was it was one or two, like it's a very small indie dev team.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it was an indie game until I saw it was nominated for indie game or whatever.
It was essentially like they did early access, so the content was like, there was good content there, but there wasn't a lot. And for a sim strategy game, it was people playing it were like, okay, this is early looks. We like the mechanics in this sim strategy game. We just need to wait for things to get fleshed out more. Frostpunk 2 is one that kind of people loved Frostpunk 1, and Frostpunk 2 kind of took it in a slightly new mechanic way that people seem to be enjoying. I haven't played it yet, but it seems like it's done really well.
I've got to be honest, I'd heard of Frostpunk 2 and Mana Lords. The reason I went Mana Lords was a lot of Football Manager streamers that I watch occasionally and YouTubers I watch occasionally, that seemed to be their second game for a lot of this year.
Interesting.
And obviously, as anyone who knows, FM is a massive sim strategy game. It's just a sport one. So when I saw a lot of them going there, I was like, that must have something about it. That's why I thought it might have a chance. But these aren't really my games. My extent of sim/strategy games are mobile phone toilet games. And long may they live.
Long may they live. Best family game. This category is a bit of a weird one to me, because when I think of family games, I'm thinking Jackbox games. I'm thinking Super Mario Party. I'm thinking of like the Switch games that have like 20 different board games built in, where sort of everyone can get involved. So when you got nominations like Astrobot, Zelda, Plucky Squire, which are like single player games, but like
family friendly.
Yeah, family friendly as opposed to like an actual family game. The only one that probably fit the bill the most was Super Mario Party, which both of you went for.
Yeah.
Which didn't end up winning. I went for Astrobot, which got it right, and I feel like I only won because it's Astrobot.
I think Helldivers 2 was snubbed in this category. What is more family friendly than co-oping with your family to fight for freedom of Super Earth?
I mean, with that logic, you can't.
I'm telling you.
Can't go against it, but Jeff Keighley seemed to disagree with me. So.
I do think
just the Game Awards twerking for
Astrobot kind of, because it got put in this category, kind of stole it because of what it is.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not sure what would have replaced it, but then I feel like it could have gone anywhere. But because Astrobot was in there, it just sort of feels like.
But yeah, I'm like you. I think family or group games like Super Mario Party and those sorts.
Did they not release a new version of like console Uno this year? Like, surely that should have been
probably. There's always like Monopoly updates and stuff like that, but
I'd have expected one lens.
So because the description for this category is for the best game appropriate for family play, irrespective of genre or platform.
So
Astrobot being a single player game.
Yeah, see, I wasn't sure if there was any co-op features of Astrobot.
Not to my knowledge.
Do they think that families are sitting down
watching
and doing
one person
pass and play with Astrobot?
So yeah, I feel like the category. There's a couple of categories that I think need to be revisited, and that's definitely one of them.
Yeah.
Best fighting game, another one, or this was the one I mentioned earlier that none of us are really into fighting games massively. Obviously, correct me if I'm wrong on that one.
No, I'm not. I wish I was.
We had Dragon Ball, Grand Blue Fantasy, Marvel vs. Capcom, Multiverses, which I didn't even realize came out this year. I thought that was last year. And Tekken 8.
Did it
So-
not come out last year, get shuttered, and then
Yes.
get revived?
It did. It came out in like an early access, then they kind of pulled it and relaunched it this year.
Okay, that makes sense.
And it's been kind of doing mixed, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, this one was a no-brainer. Tekken, I'm pretty sure, is on like a 94 or 95 on Metacritic.
This is one of the best Tekkens ever, is all I've seen. I don't know how I've managed to do this, but on my Twitter feed, I seem to follow someone from every gaming subgenre. And as a result, I get a little bit. So when like the fighting game people were doing their thing, the people were like, "Oh, this is the best Tekken game we've had in a while." And so that was my thought. I was like, the fighting game fans say Tekken's kicking ass this year. Tekken is the best game.
I know earlier in the year it was on a 94. It's now sitting at an average of 90.
I was like,
I mean,
oh, well,
still
Tekken's
for a
usually
fighting
always
game.
a solid game, but people love Dragon Ball, so I'm sure that would
Yeah.
have done well, but no, not well
I
enough.
thought as well with Dragon Ball there might be some recency bias with
Yeah.
that one as well, because it only came out within the last couple of months, whereas Tekken I believe was early this year / summer, because I remember seeing a lot of it at Summer Games Fest actually, so that would make sense. But no, the big IP with Tekken took that one.
Mm-hmm.
Best RPG, a big category. None of us got it right. I can't actually see. Con didn't even vote by the looks of it.
I didn't vote. I'm so out of RPGs this year. I was looking at these names. And I'm like, I don't have a clue.
Starfield.
That was last year. But Dragon's Dogma 2 obviously had a weird bit of drama that wasn't real drama at the beginning of the game, so I wasn't confident that was going to win. Elden Ring, a lot of people were getting angry at because it was DLC, so I had like a sinking feeling it was just gonna not win because people were angry. Final Fantasy games were either the best thing ever or they get hated, so I wasn't sure how that was gonna do. And I didn't know how this Like a Dragon game was seen, and I hadn't even heard of the game that won, so RPG games were not my thing this year, apparently.
So me and Hori both went for Shadow of the Oak Tree, and this was one where
I feel that's
instead
logical.
of going, and instead of going, it was the only one I played out of the lot, which was pretty much my reasoning for doing it. I knew it was going to be between Rebirth, Shadow of the Oak Tree, and Metaphor. Obviously, no discredit to Dragon's Dogma and Yakuza; they're just not my type of games. Shadow of the Oak Tree, I loved. I thought it was beautiful.
Just dragons.
Obviously, Metaphor absolutely smashed it this year. It's not a game for any of us. I know that for a fact. Obviously, it's by Atlas, who make the Persona games.
Oh, okay. That explains why I've never even heard of it.
So it's like turn-based RPG. It's essentially Persona, just in a different time frame. This one's more fantasy.
It would have probably been my second guess because of that. It's by the Persona people, but I just thought Elden Ring was so popular that I was like, oh, surely it'll win.
I think it being a DLC, getting all these nominations, pissed a lot of people off.
Well, spoiler alert, that is why Elden Ring did not win a single award on the evening.
Wow.
Hate to see it. Another strong category, and one that I think needs re-looking at based on the description, because I feel like anything.
Josh is calling for a recount.
I feel like anything. Well, I got this one right, and you got it wrong. So the description is for the best action/adventure game. Already, I feel like any game could fit into that. Combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. Is that not just every single player game ever? Obviously, like, apart from like Gran Turismo or something, but
yeah, I feel like it.
It's anything
the
that's
only
not
real
a straight
limitations are
shooter
do you
or
fight
driving.
something.
Yeah. It's the same with the next one as well. Like they just there's so much overlap that it just weirds me out. But we had Astrobot, Prince of Persia: Lost Crown, Silent Hill 2, Star Wars Outlaws, and Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. Con went for Zelda.
I know Zelda cleans up.
This one wasn't like a mainline title. This was like I'm pretty sure it was like a top-down, different type of game to your Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild type thing. Didn't get the best reviews. Obviously, me and Hori both went right with Astrobot. I feel like I feel like Echoes of Wisdom and Outlaws. Obviously, we know Outlaws didn't perform.
You mean the quadruple A game?
Obviously,
How could that not win?
we know that didn't perform. Silent Hill 2, I've actually asked for Christmas. I played the original on PS2 when I was way too young back in the day. My dad gave me nightmares, letting me play it. I'm looking forward to that. Prince of Persia: Lost Crown. I am about 70% into, I think. Gorgeous game, absolutely stunning. Highly recommend it. I am going for the plat. It's just taking a while.
I've got to be honest. I put that I thought Zelda would win. I wanted Prince of Persia or Silent Hill 2 to win.
Yeah,
that felt like it would be better for the culture, but I was trying to get it right. I still got it wrong, so
I knew Astrobot was going to win.
We had Astrobot.
What I will say is, it's insane there's not a horror game category.
True.
Yeah, I feel like, is there enough?
Yeah, is there enough that come out?
This is like some of the
Get into
other
the
categories.
indie games. There's indie horror games every year.
Yeah, true.
Just 5, whatever.
Okay, and let me put it this way: if we're doing a fucking sports and racing
True.
category every year, we can do a horror game category.
When the games in that one are just the new version of the
they don't even.
title.
I'm telling you, they do not even send out nominations. They literally just update the year and run it up.
And it's update the year, and it's like, right. And for the racing one, what is the one racing game that came out this year?
Yeah,
was it Forza or Gran Turismo?
Forza, Gran Turismo. Next
literally
year will be Assetto Corsa's got a new one coming, so that'll probably be the slot for next year.
Yeah, if we're doing sports and racing games as a category, give us a horror game category.
Like saying it, Astrobot, I do feel fits that brief of combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. Probably the best out of all of them, but that might be my bias. I haven't platinumed the game. And then best action game. So we're going from best action to best action adventure. And obviously the brief with this one says it focuses primarily on combat. So there is a bit of differentiation, but again, Prince of Persia's got lots of combat. Silent Hill's got, like, all the games have combat. It's just, I feel like these ones, oh wait, they've got guns and swords.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Obviously, the nominees for this one were Black Myth Wukong, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Helldivers 2, Stellar Blade, and Warhammer 40k Space Marine. Horror, you went for the nomination on that. I went for Helldivers 2. I had to give them their credit somewhere. This was one of the ones I actually went for them. And Con, you went for Black Ops 6.
Yeah.
I know you discussed that, your nomination choice on that last time. You just thought recency bias, and obviously the single player's got very good reviews this year, which I've still not got around to.
It's being seen as one of the better Call of Duty games. It's got clean gunplay. Call of Duty every year just sells more and more copies and has more and more player time. I just thought they might have just dropped at the right time to sneak in and grab the sword. I was wrong.
That's fair
was
play.
Biased and voted Warhammer 40k, knowing it probably wasn't going to win. But I mean, it's a great game, but it's a very niche fandom.
I'll be honest, when I saw our votes, I thought one of us was going to get this.
Yeah, so the winner did indeed go to Black Myth, another game I've asked for Christmas. I think it came out at the same time as something else that was really big, so I chose the other game. I can't for the life of me think it was what it was. I think it might have been Elden Ring, but don't quote me on that. Just didn't get around to it. Obviously, a lot of people loved it, so fair enough.
Oh, yeah.
One of the best action game. Best VR/AR, one that none of us have dabbled with, but we put our predictions down anyway. The nominations were Arizona Sunshine, Asgard's Wrath 2, which a lot of people thought was going to win, Batman Arkham Shadow, Metal Hellsinger VR, and Metro Awakening. I went for Metal Singer VR because I have platinumed the non-VR game, and I had a shitload of fun. So I thought, I bet in VR that is sick. Batman 1, you two got it right. Do you reckon the game's actually better than Asgard's Wrath 2, which is known as like one of the best VR titles, or is it the name and the fact that you're Batman?
The name definitely helped. It being set in the Rocksteady Arkham universe, which is beloved, helped. But based on what I've heard, it is actually a lot better than anyone expected it to be.
Fair enough.
People were going into it going, "Oh, I get to be Batman, it's worth the risk," and they were like, "Holy shit, this is surprisingly good."
I was like, all right, Batman Arkham, it'll win off its name.
Yeah,
name value definitely won't hurt.
Because I'm also just not that like intrigued by VR games anymore. There was a period where I was like, "Oh, VR is going to be cool. It's going to be the next thing," and I'm like, it's kind of novel.
I'm of the opinion now, hot take, that VR gaming is less gaming than mobile gaming. I have more respect for exclusively mobile gamers than I do for exclusively VR gamers. Because VR gaming just doesn't have enough going on.
Yeah,
It doesn't.
I
The biggest game in VR gaming is still fucking Beat Saber 12 years later.
My problem with VR has nothing to do with the games itself. So my parents / my family, last Christmas, my dad got us a MetaQuest, and it's one of them ones. It's fun for like the first 2 weeks, and then the novelty sort of wears off, and I don't think we've used it since.
Yeah,
it's hot, it's sweaty, it's heavy. I personally get really motion sick.
We're still talking about VR here, right?
What are we talking about here?
Can confirm this is VR. I think I could play about 20 minutes of Resident Evil 4 max before
it's definitely
the motion sickness. Before the motion sickness started kicking in. Con, you'll enjoy this one. I was playing a Madden career mode.
Oh, did you get sacked?
That in VR is actually really fun. Again, you just get so hot and sweaty.
The amount of clips I've seen with 50-year-old dads trying that out, and they try to avoid the sack and just run into a wall.
It's really good fun. I was having a good time with it, but I can only do it in such small periods that it's not even worth booting it up. Which is a shame. And speaking of, Con, mobile gaming versus VR gaming, we had the best mobile game of the year. We had AFK Journey, Balotro, Pokemon TCG Pocket, which we all went for in very much recency bias, I think.
Yeah.
Wuthering Waves and Zenless Zone Zero. No real surprise, Balotro won. But we went for Pokemon.
I've got to be honest. The main reason I went for Pokemon over Balotro was I was aware that Balotro was a one-man dev team, and I did not know how good the mobile version of the game was.
Oh God, don't.
So I was like, I know the PC version is beloved. I didn't know how good the PC port was, and Pokemon goes nuts.
Yeah.
So I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if Pokemon wins that.
That was kind of my thinking. I was like, it's also on PC. It's not like just a mobile game. Whereas like this is just a Pokemon mobile game, and like Pokemon fans love Pokemon. So, but maybe it was just a little too late.
Yeah, because we've got to think Pokemon Pocket. When did it come out? Like the end of October, start of November?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. I mean, we're all loving it still on a daily basis. Obviously, at the time of recording, the new promo came out yesterday.
Mythical Island,
you saved up points for 3 new packs.
I think I only need 6 new cards out of the 68.
It's nerd.
Well, I mean, we love it. Balotro, I downloaded it when it first came out and never ended up really playing it. Recently reinstalled it onto my iPad. I thought if I buy it through Apple, I can play it on my phone and my iPad when I'm in bed or whatever. And I have logged a ridiculous amount of hours. I am obsessed. It is fantastic. It rightly so won a few awards, which we'll be going on to in a sec, and I can't put it down at the minute. I want to play Marvel Rivals. I want to do this. I want to spend time with my girlfriend, but no, Balotro.
Live with her. You spend 8 hours a night right next to her. She can give up some time to Balotro and Marvel Rivals.
Oh, this is the thing. She goes to bed
watching the.
she goes to bed and reads her Kindle. I'm laying there playing Balotro on my iPad. It is just absolutely addicted, and rightfully so. Won that one. And guess what else it won? It also won the best debut indie and the best overall indie game of the year.
Yeah,
that I don't think that was a shock to anyone, was it?
No, not really. Plucky Squire was a debut indie. The premise of the game was fun. You've heard my rant on this one before. The Platinum was broke. It was so buggy that the art style and the premise of the game was just overshadowed by the amount of bugs, which is a shame. And then Animal Well, one that I've got installed and haven't played. Same with Never. Manor Lords has popped up there again as debut indie. So a lot of big titles, just Balotro.
I think this year has shown that indie devs are really ready to make a big splash in the more mainstream gaming space.
Hmm.
Because I don't think I've ever looked at the two indie categories and recognized over half the titles.
That's true.
Which I think is a really good sign, and me included, I'm trying to get better at it. We do need to spend more time trying to support indie devs right now because they're making some of the best games you've ever seen. Like, isn't the story the guy who made Balatro was his wife wanted a game like it, so he built a version for her, and then it just kind of spiraled from there.
I'm not 100% sure, but that'd be sick if it was true. I mean, 90% of indie games nowadays are all on Xbox Game Pass. So if you got Game Pass, just give them a download. If you like it, you'll probably play it till the end. If you don't have to play it. You've got the download. Add all the games to your wish list. Obviously, Jeff was promoting all the games throughout the night that we'll be coming on to. Add them all to your wish list. Support the devs. That's the best way to do it.
Exactly.
Best community support. We had Baldur's Gate 3. Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, and No Man's Sky.
Fortnite Battle Pass.
Bon, you went for No Man's Sky. Explain your rationale behind that one.
So No Man's Sky was the biggest scam game ever released when it came out. And they've spent the last 10 years, I think it is now, which is crazy, just fixing their original broken promise. And they've now surpassed it, and the game is now phenomenal. So I assumed they were probably in with a good shout, because you don't fix a game that well and change the opinion of a game that well without supporting the community and having a really good interaction with the community. So I had a instinct that they might do pretty well.
I don't think you're wrong there. I think, have they not already won something though, like last year?
Quite possibly.
Because I think they won something around the time when they did that really big update, and everyone was like, "Oh, they've fixed the game. Like, this is now No Man's Sky." And I mean, it shows what a dedicated dev team that owns their mess up and sticks by fixing it can prove that, look, you can turn the community around. Because I'm pretty sure that game now is mostly positive on Steam. So it's
that game is seen as beloved now. There are people coming to play that game for the first time who don't know what the trenches were like day one release.
They weren't there. I was there, man. Speaking of trenches.
Speaking of trenches.
Malevolent Creek, motherfucker.
So, Hori, we went for Helldivers 2.
Yeah.
This is one where the support at the start, I mean, was fantastic. Obviously, they did have that slight blunder with the whole PlayStation membership.
But
the actual gameplay content was
and they did the update.
Really good, wasn't it?
They owned up to messing up balancing, and they kind of reverted a lot of the nerfs, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, it feels fun again. This is great." They've still been doing the special orders and those community missions. There was one they did where they gave people. They've done it before. It's there's 2 missions. You've got to pick one to focus on as a community. And one was go to planet, save kids. The other was go to other planet, unlock new rocket launcher or new weapon or something. And the community actually saved the kids. And then the devs matched what they did, or whatever the scoring was, they matched that as a donation to save the kids.
Yep.
Oh, that's really cool.
It was stuff like that. I'm like, oh, surely Helldivers 2 wins this. They've done so much with their community. But then Baldur's Gate 3.
I mean, I know Baldur's Gate have released a lot of updates this year. But I am surprised that it was able to beat out No Man's Sky, Helldivers, and Fortnite. Because Fortnite is always in the conversations
this is one
because of the amount of
they just have so many updates.
Yeah.
For Final Fantasy 14, I don't know much about the online play for that.
Not a fucking clue.
But Baldur's Gate 3. I mean, fair enough. Can't argue that. Which is a similar rationale for the next one. The best ongoing game. We got Destiny 2, Diablo 4, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, which we all put down, and Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2 won.
I'm going to say it.
These are 2 that I think intertwine again.
I'm going to say it.
Strange.
I've said to Josh on a number of occasions when he's asked me to come play Fortnite, I'm never playing Fortnite again. Fortnite was robbed. In the year of our Lord and Saviour 2024, I'd like to point out I was doing my GCSEs when when Fortnite came out. I now own a home.
Makes me feel old.
Yeah.
You are.
And it's still breaking its own records.
Well, yeah, the most recent concert event, end of season event, broke their all-time player record.
Yeah. I don't think in good conscience you can say Helldivers 2, which only came out in February, is a better ongoing game when it's not even a year old than Fortnite, which is still breaking its own records 7 years later.
I guess your argument for this could be that Fortnite's new update hasn't really been them doing anything that evolves the player experience because they've done old school Fortnite.
No, I disagree.
Old school Fortnite is fun.
Look at all the stuff they've added to Fortnite this year, though. You've got like Lego Fortnite came out this year.
True.
And they've announced Bricks Lives, and they've announced the racing game.
League, yeah.
Fortnite is the metaverse now.
Surely Fortnite's already won this before, though.
They've probably won the last couple.
Yeah, so let Helldivers have one. Fortnite can have it next year when they bring out Brick Life.
Here's the thing. The Helldivers dev team deserve awards. But I don't think this is an award that actually should go to anyone other than Fortnite right now.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, Fortnite should be winning this. I'm fine with Helldivers taking it because they didn't get community support. But like Josh said, these kind of intertwine again.
Yeah, there is a bit of overlap in these ones. I think maybe they need looking at potentially, but who knows? Games for Impact was next up. Nominations were, let me scroll out because I think there might be more. No, we had, I'm looking at the wrong category. Here we go. Games for Impact. We had Close the Distance, Indica, Never, Life is Strange, Double Exposure, Senua Saga's Hellblade 2, and Tales of Kenzera. I went for Tales, it was one of the only ones I'd played. A few of them I've started, not finished. I platinum Tales, really enjoyed the game. Con, you went for Close the Distance?
Yeah, so I've not played any of the games, but I had a look through the game and what their plot was. And I made my prediction of Games for Impact based off that. I can't remember what the plot is now because I did these 6 weeks ago. But based on what I'd read about the stories, I thought that was in with a good chance. I wouldn't have been surprised if Senua's Saga had won either, being a AAA game that also had a pretty impactful story. I wouldn't have been shocked if that had won. But shout out another indie game as well with Neva. Love to see that.
Yep, Hori, I can see you went for Senua's Saga, which it fits the category well. It's all to do with psychosis and stuff. Obviously, I played the first one. I platinumed the first one actually.
Hellblade really 1 was so loved and well received. I was like, I'd heard good things about the second one, so I just kind of presumed. I was like, Connor, I haven't played any of these, but I was like, probably a solid chance that Hellblade 2 could take this. But
never ended up winning that one. Yeah. Innovation in accessibility. This is recognizing software and or hardware that is pushing the medium by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by a wider audience. We had Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Diablo, Dragon Age, Prince of Persia, and Star Wars Outlaws. I'm very glad.
Why was Call of Duty nominated? Does anyone know? Because I tried to look this up and I could not see a fucking reason this game would be nominated.
I haven't actually looked to see what they've added personally.
Because when I saw this category, I was like, oh, maybe I'm misunderstanding this because I've got a decent amount of hours in Call of Duty. I've looked through their settings. I don't see anything that is innovation in accessibility in there. In fact, I'm going to list a bit of a soapbox moment. Yeah, charging 20 quid so people can hear properly.
Oh, you already knew what I was going to say.
Yeah, I don't know how Call of Duty have got a nomination here. If someone would like to comment down below to let me know, I'd much appreciate it because I was baffled they got nominated.
I mean, Prince of Persia won, which I'm very happy about. So their system is nuts. You can tweak anything ever. The difficulty, you can break it down into speed, difficulty of certain enemies, difficulty of this, that, make this bigger, make this smaller. It is, the amount of stuff is quite overwhelming, and none of it affects trophies, which is quite nice. So yeah, I didn't know much about the other ones realistically.
Because I looked it up a bit with this one, and I was like, I saw that Prince of Persia everyone was saying it, how in depth you can go with the settings
is
why
bonkers.
it's so good. But,
yep.
Yeah.
Love to see it. Best performance. We had Brianna White from Final Fantasy, Hannah Tell from Life is Strange, Humbly Gonzalez from Outlaws, Luke Roberts, who plays the protagonist in Silent Hill 2, and Melina Jurgens, who did indeed go on to win with her performance from Senua's Saga's Hellblade 2. I mean, any of them could have won. They were all really good. To my best knowledge, I've said a couple of the games I haven't played, but I can
I'll be
see
honest,
them.
my full thing for picking Melina was based off when they showed off the Unreal Engine stuff with the face tracking. And I was like, I know she did a great performance in the first one. And I was like, seeing that, I was like, she is going to do a great performance and they're going to be able to translate it perfectly into the game. I was like, surely Hellblades, because they're just the triple, like they've got the ability to really capture a performance and properly sell it. And I was like, oh, I'm sure they'll nail it.
Having not played any of the games, I didn't feel comfortable saying who I thought was going to win, because I'm like, I don't want to say I think this actor will do a good job when I've not played the game.
You don't know.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair enough.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I was sit on that fence forever.
We had another Senua Saga winner here in Best Audio Design. This one to me was a no-brainer. The game is literally focused on the audio and the psychosis and hearing all the different voices from each year, etc.
How the fuck did Call of Duty get another nomination here? Best audio design. They're charging people to be able to use the audio.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that one.
How? What are we doing?
Premium, innit?
It's crazy to me that they were taking in nominations for best audio design. They went, what are Call of Duty doing with their audio this year? Oh, they're charging people an additional £20 to be able to hear. Oh, sweet, nominate them. What are we doing? I expected Senua's Saga for the reasons you said. I wasn't sure if Silent Hill 2 was going to do pretty well, because as a general rule, horror games audio is like a huge thing. So I thought Silent Hill might take
Build the suspense.
Yeah, man.
No, we all got that one right. Clean sweep. And another clean sweep following that, also to do with audio. We had the best score and music. Astrobot, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Metaphor, Silent Hill 2, and Stellar Blade. I mean, you don't have to know the games or have played the games to know that Final Fantasy has always just got unbelievable music.
I've listened to more Final Fantasy music than Final Fantasy game time. I've never played Final Fantasy. I've listened to a couple of their soundtracks.
Oh yeah, like everyone knows it has incredible scores, so it was a no-brainer.
Oh, but wait, what if it won the award because we all assumed it was going to have great music? Has anyone checked?
Yeah, everyone just.
The only other one I would have maybe guessed would have had a chance would have been Astrobot, because I didn't know like what the music and stuff. If there was like, because I know there's a lot of nostalgia stuff into that game.
The Astrobot, the music was cool. It was very fitting to the levels that you played. A lot of it got quite repetitive if you're like stuck on a level and you're just hearing it over and over again.
It would tilt me so fast.
There was a couple of bits where I just thought, if I hear this bloody song one more time. But no, Final Fantasy VII, I thought that was a bit of a no-brainer. Best art direction nominees were Astrobot, Black Myth, Shadow of the Erdtree, Metaphor, and Never. Me and Hori both went for Elden Ring. Obviously, that game is just unbelievable to look at. Conman Astrobot, another colourful, vibrant, pretty game. We was all wrong. Metaphor won.
Yeah, I fucked hard with the Astrobot art style. That was the only one where Astrobot was nominated that I really wanted it to win. So I'm like, I like what you've done with how that visually looks.
Metaphor, obviously, huge game this year. The JRPG just style. Atlas went from like quite futuristic look into sort of more of a fantasy setting. And I suppose everyone just ate that up by the looks of it. I mean, it won the category. Best narrative. So now we're getting to the big dogs. The last three of the night. I'm pretty sure they weren't in this order, but the big dogs. Best narrative. This is for outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game. We had Final Fantasy VII, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Metaphor, Senua's Saga, and Silent Hill 2. We had Congo with Final Fantasy, Hori with Senua's Saga, and I went for the correct answer with Metaphor. I haven't actually played. The only one I played is Hellblade 2. So I just had a feeling Metaphor would win. Just because it's such a long game with so much text, typical to the Persona games.
I should have really thought about it, because the narrative in Persona is well loved in those games, so it was bound to be just as good. But also Hellblade 1 was a well loved story, so I presumed Hellblade 2.
I once again took a punt with Final Fantasy always does well.
I mean, you're not wrong, it does. Best game direction. So this one was awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation. Astrobot, Balotro, Wukong, Shadow of the Erdtree, Rebirth, and Metaphor. Huge titles, I feel like. It could have gone anyway. Astrobot did indeed win. Me and Hori went for that, with Con going for Shadow of the Erdtree. I just feel like...
I wanted Balatro to win.
I feel like because it could, based on the description of the category, it very much could have. Instead, Astrobot also fits it well. Innovation, some of the stuff in the levels and the haptics and the stuff you can do with the controller, it's all just fantastic and, in my opinion, deserved. Obviously, I've not played a lot of the others, or a few of the others, but Astrobot.
Yeah, I mean, Shadow of the Erdtree is not really innovative. They did it in the base
it's just
game.
another Souls game. Yeah,
well, they did it all in the base game. It's just a DLC.
Right? Valid.
I'll be honest. I wanted Balatro to win, but I thought Erdtree had the best chance of beating Astrobot, and I didn't want to vote for Astrobot.
That's valid. Well,
PlayStation here.
You're in denial because PlayStation are on top. Game of the year went to Astrobot, which I went for myself. I platinumed it, loved it, fantastic game. Got the controller, got a couple of accessories about. It's just
controller's better than the game.
Fantastic. I mean, you're not wrong. That controller's a thing of beauty, but Con, you went for Shadow of the Erdtree, controversial one considering it was a DLC.
So I've not played any of these games, to be clear. But the one I spent the most time interacting with in any way was Shadow of the Erdtree. I watched no less than 4 streamers complete playthroughs of the Erdtree content. I loved it. I thought it was phenomenal. Anyone who knows me remotely knows that a game like a Souls-like is not a game I should play. It would not end well. So I have to live vicariously through streamers. I wanted Balatro to win, but I just knew an indie game was never going to win Game of the Year. Especially on a year like this against Black Myth, Wukong, Elden Ring, and Astrobot.
I mean,
fair enough. Hori,
Shadow
you
of the
went for
Erdtree. Yeah, I mean, Shadow of the Erdtree, great game, but it's DLC. I was like, I feel like it sets the wrong precedent if it wins.
Yeah.
Astrobot's great. I just thought Black Myth Wukong also was well loved and also was kind of like, it's a Western, not Eastern, sorry, like fantasy game that's done well in the West for like the first time ever as like a story. And also, like, it's a great game. I just thought it kind of was a bit more unique than, don't get me wrong, Astrobot's great, but it is, I wouldn't say anything remarkably special in like what it's done story-wise or anything. But I also understand why Astrobot won.
Yeah. I feel like this could have been a top-up. For me, it was out of Astrobot, Rebirth, and Metaphor. I haven't seen the votes, and I'm not actually sure if they released it, but I assume Metaphor came second. I don't know if that's data that people can actually see, but yeah, Astrobot Game of the Year. It might be my personal Game of the Year. Who knows? Yeah, Astrobot, we've won 2, 3 awards throughout the night. Best Action Adventure, Best Game
Metaphor
Direction,
also did
and
well.
Game of the Year. Yeah, Metaphor got a good handful, except the big one, which is tough to see. But overall, shout out to all them games and the winners and the nominees. I mean, what a year for games we've had.
Yeah.
It's been a good year.
A very fantastic showing. Astrobot Game of the Year. PlayStation on top. Sorry for all the Xbox fans like Con.
Yeah, can we now get an Xbox version?
Hellblade did well. What are we talking about?
Yeah, valid. Can't argue that. Yeah, that was the nominations and our results for the 2024 Game Awards.